Hi, everyone. We are here at the ASDS conference in Orlando, and today we're talking about the hot topic of regenerative aesthetics. With me here today is Dr. Janet Allenby, Dr. Jean Carruthers, and Dr. Rishi Chopra, three leading experts in the field. So first, I want to know, just for the audience, what is regenerative medicine? It's such a hot topic, but what does it entail?
Since I have the microphone, I guess I get to go first. Thank you for being here with NewBeauty. It's quite the honor. Regenerative medicine, I think, is a buzzword. We have been, as dermatologists, been doing regenerative medicine for probably the inception of aesthetics. You can look at a product like Sculptra that is regenerative, and that's been around since 2004. Lasers that were even earlier than that are regeneratives. Regenerative really means rebuilding, and I think that is really what we've been doing all along, but maybe sometimes it takes social media a while to kick in.
I think that's a really great summary. Essentially, it's rebuilding and also prevention, the two together.
Thank you. So, first of all, it's an honor to be up here with you two ladies, you fantastic ladies, and NewBeauty. So the way that I think about regenerative medicine is like that's the final stage of where we want to go in aesthetics. I feel that initially when we were trying to treat in an aesthetic manner, we were trying to repair. So we're using, for example, for volume loss, we're using silicone, something fake, not natural in the body to kind of replace a broken part of our body, right? And then after that, it was more like rejuvenation. It's like, we learned how we age. We can start using something similar and something more natural, hyaluronic acid, to kind of fill in the volume loss in the cheeks and kind of maintain a more natural result, but still not recreating our own tissue. And I feel like the final stage in all of this is regeneration. And that's actually creating your own tissue kind of from scratch, healthy, younger, more elastic, more collagen. And that's kind of like the final frontier and kind of, I think, where we're going. And it's, all of these treatments were more generalizable. They weren't very personalized. And I feel as we're learning more about the gene editing and just, just our genes in general, we're going to be able to create very personalized regimens in terms of aesthetics for patients that kind of solve multiple issues from the gene up, rather than providing something like a stimulant like Sculptra or ASDS that will create collagen kind of in an unnatural manner. So exciting for the future.
Wonderful. We definitely want more of that, more collagen, more youthfulness. So what are you doing now at your practice that would fall in this category? What are those treatments and what should patients expect from those treatments?
Okay, so again, I think I'm a huge Sculptra lover. It's been with me since 2004, and over the years, I've modified how I use it to really get the regenerative part out of it. But I think kind of things that are newer in the office is, one, I do use Renuva, which is a matrix that grows fat in. And I think that's been a fantastic product. You have to do it very gently over time. It is something that is going to last a long time, and it grows your own fat in. So it doesn't have the stiffness that you see, with the hyaluronic acids. I think some of the new topicals like Rion's Plated is one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. It does have the exosomes, and it's considered a regenerative stem cell topical that, is not a pharmaceutical, but it came from cardiac. Regenerative of cardiac muscle is where it actually stemmed out of. And then they're getting into hair and growth of different hair, skin, anything that's going to make the skin or the hair more youthful. I'm always looking for something like that.
Great. Well, I really like the concept of rejuvenation paired with prevention. Patients are always looking for great skincare products. And the ones that I've been using actually go down the shafts of the vellus hairs in the face and stimulate the fibroblasts to make more collagen and more elastin. I think elastin is the product. It's less than 2% of the protein in the extracellular matrix of the skin. And yet it is the Cinderella product. It's the neglected sister. Because
sister of collagen.
Exactly. And so I think anything we can do, because you don't know that you had elastin until you've lost it.
Right. Then you really notice it.
Then you know. So we're also working with a group called Acorn. And what they do, Acorn Labs do, we harvest 50 hair follicles at a time from patients, and we air freight them to Toronto. And they actually are now, we're doing just about to start a study where we're making personalized exosomes or secretosomes, as they're called, from your own, because that's the thing with exosomes, what's in the packet. It's like your birthday present, what's inside there. It could be a surprise. And so I think having the personalized exosomes or secretosomes it's going to be used for hair growth with microneedling and scars with microneedling, and also with just topical application for rejuvenation.
I'm familiar with Acorn, and I think the concept is fascinating because you're banking your follicles, and then from that you can also get your skin cells, and they're going to make skincare, right?
Yes.
Yes, personalized skincare.
Personalized, that is what is happening. So I think everyone should run right now and have their hair follicles pulled, because you'll never be as young tomorrow as you are today. And you're better with your stem cells if they're younger. Other things that we're doing is like standard rejuvenation treatments all have the facility for creating new skin. And that's what we need to do, is to get rid of the old stuff. So I know you're going to ask questions about this, about what's coming in the future. I'll save that comment.
Yes.
So we talked a lot about topicals and all the new very advanced serums and active that are coming out. Let's move over a little bit to procedure. So we talked about lasers. We're learning very fundamental to skincare, because we're learning not just that it improves the cosmesis of our skin, but it also improves the medical health of our skin. There was a study recently that showed that those that perform, a resurfacing laser have a 50% reduction in non-melanoma skin cancers. So anybody that has a lot of sun damage, or they're prone to have skin cancer, lasers are going to be good for that type of individual. But also it has a dual function, and we're just learning about this. And my suspicion is that we're going to have a lot more studies that come out that show us that lasers are going to really set off a cascade of events in the skin to make not just the skin, but the fat underneath more healthy. There's a lot of evidence coming out, and we're not talking about laser hair removal. We're talking about rejuvenation lasers that you do once or twice a year to kind of resurface the skin, build collagen in those fine lines and wrinkles. And it does make your skin look and feel younger.
My next question is, if somebody wanted to come in and get one treatment that falls in this category, what treatment would you say gives the best payoff?
I am not a believer in one treatment of anything. I think we can't rely on one treatment. And so I'm kind of going to say, I'm going to defer this to my colleagues. There are so many things that are amazing by themselves, but it's the combination and it's the expertise that we have here of using the right combination is really what's going to give the best result. Hard pressed, like a resurfacing laser would be, if somebody had, okay, this is all I have this amount of money, what can I do? I might do something like that.
I think that's a great answer, because none of us do monotherapy. And all of us have the facility to do everything. So I usually like to start with, guess what, neuromodulators as the first. But I think it goes so perfectly with restructuring the face, reshaping the face, because it changes. Girls, it starts in us in age 24, 25. And in guys, it doesn't start till 45. And we are jealous. Yeah, because it really is something that we have to deal with much earlier. So to me, I think the best treatment really would be education about what you can do in your personal regimen, as well as looking after your skin.
I love that answer. I think that education is the foundation of that doctor-patient relationship and kind of building a routine or a regimen. There's so many patients that come in and it's like a total re-education of kind of what they believe in skincare, what, the topicals can do, what injections can do, what lasers can do. I'm a device guy, I'm a laser guy, but what I will say is we're learning a lot about light, like red light therapy. And you see a lot of these at-home masks that, they purport to really improve fine lines, wrinkles, reverse the age of your skin. But what I can say is that these red light masks do work. Now, the ones at homes, I don't know. The jury's still out, but the medical grade ones actually, they activate fibroblasts, they build collagen from in a natural way that has very little downtime, and there's really no side effects or adverse effects from it. So anybody that wanted to kind of invest in a daily skincare routine, maybe we want to invest in a red light mask.
sorry, I'm hijacking this. We have the queen, the
Yes,
empress,
we do.
the almighty neuromodulator person with us here. So I'm going to ask you a question. I really spend a lot less time on the upper third of the face, and it's because of neuromodulators. So I don't spend as much of people's money from here to here, maybe resurfacing at the most. But I think you're right. I think, a neuromodulator early and really keeping that upper third of the face, it saves them a third of the budget.
Yeah, I think also it has this wonderful side effect that it actually doesn't stay in the skin. We know now that it goes back into the brain and it goes into the area, the anterior inferior end of the temporal gyrus, which is the area that we deal with pain and discomfort and anxiety. And so what happens 2 weeks after, if you do a functional MRI of a person before you do the neuromodulator treatment, and it works for all the neuromodulators that have been studied, and then you do this functional MRI again a couple of weeks after, you can show it just turns off because functional MRI it's based on oxygen consumption. So you can show that paired with mood, there are scales, mood scales for depression, for anxiety, for social anxiety, and you can show on the scales that people feel way happier. So when I'm treating a face, I always treat the upper face first, and I always get them back a couple of weeks later. And that's when, to your point, they look at their pictures again and they say, oh my God, what can you do for down here? Because it doesn't match any.
I have a question for you. Now that was just going to be an interview of Dr. Carruthers because I'm excited about this because, and this is just me nerding out, is initially we thought that, neuromodulators work through the facial feedback hypothesis. Do you think it's based on others' perception of us, or do you think it's more this brain skin axis now, I guess?
Yeah, it's got to be both. It's got to be both for sure. Yeah. The amygdala, which is that little area, is just a wonderful thing to downregulate for so many people. It's now been shown that it works in PTSD. Yeah. So there's a lot. It's not just for women who want to look better. It's for people who've been in combat, whether they've been in combat away as part of an armed force or they've been beaten up at home. All these things are combat.
So it's clinically proven, and Dr. Carruthers can confirm that your injections just make you happier. So that's a great outcome. And you guys can hijack this and ask Dr. I want to ask Dr. Carruthers a million questions as well. But for my last question, what is the future of regenerative medicine? What can we expect? What's on the horizon?
I think that's an unknown for sure. It's so amazing. I am not a thinker of these things up. I am you give it to me and I do something with it person. I'm just shocked on the things that are coming out, and it's lovely. I wish I were a little younger, that I could have jumped into like what you said. You're only as young as you are today. So I really think that we just have so many more advances that I can't even fathom at this point. But this information and what she just shared with us it's remarkable. Understanding the science behind it. It's not just the look, it's the feel better part. I think that we're all really interested in, if we didn't feel better with these things, we wouldn't be doing them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think we're also blessed to have so many millennials. And the millennial I see a few of them around here. Millennials don't believe in treatment. Millennials believe in prevention. And the other thing about millennials is that they have taken all of the stigma away from the concept of wellness. So that it's okay to look after yourself. It used to be, you really shouldn't do that. You should do things that are good for other people. But I think now we're realizing you can't. It's like the airlines. First of all, put the mask on yourself and then on the person next to you. I think that's become a cultural norm within the millennials. And I think it's catching on as well with Generation X. I do think that it's already there in the younger generations, Generation Z, because of the internet.
I totally agree with you. And I was going to say something similar, is that millennials care so much about the experience and they care less about materialistic things. And they're all about what's now. And they're like, we'll think about later. And it's all about skin vesting. I think it's starting early in a skincare routine, whether it be topicals or procedures. And I'm going to bring it back again because I'm a laser nerd. The reason there's a laser that's coming out that I'm excited about because it's the first laser that integrates AI potentially. And I think that's the future, right? It's we're very smart and dermatologists, we understand the skin, but AI can be a real asset when it comes to analyzing the skin and then adjusting the laser to kind of optimize it for your skin type, whether you're darker skin color or lighter skin color, whether you have a history of skin cancer or not. And that's kind of the future. And there's a new laser that's able to do that. And it's one of the lasers that can resurface the skin and make it look new, but also tighten, almost volumize, almost like a filler. So it's like potentially we may be able to replace these unnatural fillers with an aggressive laser treatment in an area that we have volume loss. Exciting things on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to it.
And that one I think also does any skin type, which is a huge.
Every skin, it was made for that purpose.
And that one is the Ababa Miria.
Ababa Miria, and it's by the same inventors who invented the Fraxel. So very trusted team behind that laser.
Well, there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon, but I want to thank you all for coming and enlightening us on this really hot topic. And I hope this helps everyone navigate their treatments. And of course, thank you to the panelists. You're amazing. And this has been great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having us.